Hello and welcome back again. My name is NSA Steven and today, welcome back to Patch Notes. Today we'll be covering patch 7.18 for League of Legends and what an interesting patch this is. So first of all, we need to obviously start off with what this patch is about, and it is about Worlds. So it's going to be very heavily aimed at professional play, which it actually is. A lot of the balance changes are very minimal. A lot of the champions that are affected are not really champions that is played a lot in solo queue, and some of them are, but the buffs and the nerfs are mainly aimed at professional play. Hence, one of the nerfs in this, which is from a solo queue perspective, it sounds a bit stupid that they're nerfing the character, which is Kalista, by the way. But hey, it's pro play. She's pretty good there. So let's start off with the new skins coming within this patch. So first of all, let's actually look at a champion who hasn't received a skin in fucking forever. Her last skin was actually part of the Lunar New Year a couple years ago, and that was for Cassiopeia. That's right, Cassiopeia will be getting a new skin called the Internum. So this will be joining Rek'Sai and Nocturne, who also currently have the Internum skins, which is actually really cool. I actually really like the red theme, the red alienish theme. It's actually pretty damn cool. So you can go and check that out. Next up, we have the new championship skin that will be coming in this patch as well, which will be for Ashe. Now, this skin is really cool and is most likely my favorite championship skin actually ever, as my last previous one I really liked was the Kalista one. Didn't like the Zed one that much. I preferred other skins for Zed. But this new Ashe skin is pretty damn cool. But what makes this even more epic is the fact that there will be a chroma coming with it, which actually looks even better than the base skin itself, which changes the blue colouring to a white colouring, and god does it look nice. Now, how you get the way of this chroma is a little bit up in the air at the moment. We're not too sure. However, we do know that it'll be linked with some sort of missions rewards, because they have talked about that within Worlds there will be some missions that you need to do, and the skin will be locked behind a paywall in terms of like tokens or stuff like that we've seen before, which is pretty interesting. So we can earn that around Worlds time. Now, going on from chromas, the last set we need to talk about is the final set of chromas that will be coming in this patch, which will be for Prime Time Draven. And these look really cool. I really like them. They just basically changed the colour of his suit, which looks pretty cool. I think they also changed the colour of his hair as well. Obviously, his microphone weapons, or microphone axes get colour changes as well, which look all pretty cool. So, if you're interested, go check them out. Now, let's move on to the patch notes itself, starting with Azir. So, Azir's base R damage will be going up in the mid and late game by 25 and 5% respectively. Next up, we have Cassiopeia's E. Bonus damage will be going down by 25, but the bonus AP ratio will be up by 0.1 to poisoned targets, which should allow her to do, which should be making her do a little bit less damage overall to poison targets, since that is who she wants to be mainly targeting because of the mana refund. Next up, we have Elise's W's. Base damage will be going down by 25, but the AP ratio is up by 0.95. Also, her E cooldown is up by 4 seconds in the later ranks. So this is just aimed to knock her down a little bit, and maybe force her to go a bit more of an AP build rather than a tank build, which she currently is doing. Who knows? I don't think pros will be changing their build on her, as pros really like the tanks. Even Rek'Sai, for example. Rek'Sai got a rework to make her more of a damage dealer, and everyone still plays as a tank. So, pro play loves their tanks, basically. Next up, we have Fiora. Fiora's passive movement speed is going up by 5%, and her R now grants her the passive's bonus movement speed again when she's inside of her ult radius. So, just reverting some of the other nerfs that she received. They're doing this slowly over a few patches now, so maybe Fiora might go back up to a healthy place. Next up, we have Gnar. Gnar's base health is going down by 30. Not much of a nerf, to be honest. This is just done to maybe make him a little bit easier to kill in a 1v1 by a top laner, so there you go. Next up, we have Gragas. Gragas's E collision detection is going down from 210 to 180 units, and the hitbox radius is down by 20, making it harder to hit. So it's just designed to make him a little bit harder to play and a little bit harder to actually execute properly, because of the fact that the hitbox before was actually pretty decent sized, making the E hitbox actually really easy to hit. So they're just trying to tone that down, make it a little bit more skill dependent, which is pretty nice in my opinion. Next up we have Ivern. Ivern's E base damage is going up by 10, and the AP ratio is going up by 0.1. Not much of a buff to Ivern. It's just designed to make him a little bit better in the current state of the jungle, where a lot of the other junglers are pushing him out. Next up we have Jarvan. Jarvan's base shield is down by 5, which is a lot, and the bonus shield per champion is down by 1% of Jarvan's maximum health. To me, these nerfs do not actually affect Jarvan that much, and they actually just do nothing really. It's very minuscule. The 1% of Jarvan's maximum health per champion is a little bit going to affect him a little bit more than the other one, but who knows? I don't think this is going to be affecting him that much at all. Next up we have Kalista. Kalista's R cooldown is going up by an extra 30 seconds. I don't understand this this nerf. Jeez, I need to start calling the buffs. This nerf to Kalista, I do not understand at all, because this is designed at later stages of the game, where Kalista really doesn't really care much about her ultimate cooldown, because she just picks up somebody, throws them in, and that's it. She doesn't need it until the next team fight. So the fact that it's going up by a few seconds really doesn't matter at all. And the early game, again, doesn't really matter, because it's the same story. You're only picking up the throw and start the fights. You're not trying to use the ultimate multiple times in a fight. There's no need. So the nerfs doesn't really make much sense. Next up we have Lee Sin. It's Worlds. Of course Lee Sin gets a buff. Lee Sin's W shield is up by 5. And it's very minuscule, so it's not going to do anything. Next up we have Lucian. Lucian's E cooldown is going to be up by 4 seconds in the early game. Just make him a little bit less slippery, as he currently is. Just because, he's a very popular mid laner at the moment. Next up we have Nautilus. Nautilus's Q mana cost is now going to be a flat 60 mana, and if he hits a Q on terrain, it will refund half the mana. So, just allow him to use his Q a little bit more, and he can actually use it for mobility as well. Nidalee's E minimum ratio is up by 0.05, which is not a lot, and the maximum ratio is up by 0.5. So if you guys don't know, her E is the heal. So she actually allows her to do a little bit more of a better heal with the more AP she has. And that actually really fits in really well with the current build on Nidalee, which is very support focused, very based on trying to get your abilities to land, so you can use your Athenes and your Ardent Sensor to buff up your AD carry an incredible amount. So this is playing into what the pros are doing right now. So pretty good buff in a lot of pros' eyes, because it does exactly what they want it to do. Next up, we have Ornn, aka the worst champion in the game right now. Because how can you actually like this dumb fuck? But basically, his passive will now be locked away until level 13 to stop the idiots from upgrading too early. But to be honest, it's level 13. People are still going to be buying these stupid items at level 13 when these are meant to be your last items purchased. So it's not going to protect dumb people from being dumb. So this is not going to do much. Also, he now has a new item for the dumbasses to actually upgrade, which is going to be Zhonya's Paradox. Again, people are stupid when they're playing with an Ornn. They buy these upgrades way too early in the game. For the amount of cost the cost they are is not very good at all. I remember seeing these on the PvE and they were fucking awful. In terms of being a very main purchase in your build, you might as well just go for a new item. It is a lot better than buying this upgrade. Like, seriously. I don't know how people still don't understand that with how long Ornn has been out for now. So, there's that. Also, his R maximum ram speed is now up by 105. Not much, it's just a nice little buff there. Still not going to do much for Ornn, he's still crap. Next up we have Rakan. Rakan's W dash speed is down from 1,800 plus 100% of his movement speed to 2,050 plus 30% of his movement speed. And his R radius, is down by 50% and the cooldown is down by 20 late game. So this is just designed to make him a little bit easier to get out of his tire combo because he dashes at you a lot slower and his ultimate has a little smaller radius. So it is just designed to make it a little bit harder to hit, and the cooldown is just to it's just allow him to do a little bit more. There you go. Next up, we have Rengar. Rengar's base armor is up by 3, so you better start banning this broken mess. Kappa. Next up, we have Ryze's W. Ratio is going up by 0.4 AP. Not a lot. Might not bring him in. I highly doubt it will, but it's nice. Tristana's E bomb ratio is down by 0.2 in the later ranks, and the 4-stack bomb is down by 0.44 at later ranks. Basically meaning the fact that you max E first is actually going to be impacting you in the early game, as your bomb will no longer be doing as much damage as it used to. But this does not bring Tristana down at all. I think Tristana and Twitch is still going to be those dominant ADs. And the fact that Twitch is still not getting touched is a little bit shocking in my opinion. They need to touch Twitch, for God's sake. Twitch has been one of the strongest ADs for nearly a year now, Rito. Please, nerf this fuck. Get him down. Look how long it took you to do fucking Caitlyn, but at least you did her. Where's Twitch? Please. Anyway, Rumble's passive now also has some better clarity to it, so you will actually find it easier in Overheat. So that's all the champions, but let's move on to the item nerfs. And buffs? I don't know. Anyway, Cinder Hulk's health is going down by 25. Not a lot. Next up we have Spells Thief's Edge's line now has 10% cooldown, which is going to be really nice, and a lot of the AP supports that really do not really want coin and would rather have the AP early should be switching it back over to Spells Thieves. So this is champions such as the likes of Lux, Zyra, and all that lot, instead of going the coin just for the extra money, should now be a little bit, a nicer little option for them. Next up we have Gargoyle's Stoneplate. The bonus health will now be split between base and bonus health rather than just being flat out bonus health. So this just designed to nerf it a little bit, make it a little bit easier when you itemize against it with armor pen and such as that. As if you've got things like that destroys health, a lot of that is actually targeted at the base health rather than the bonus health, and vice versa. So it should just allow you to cut through these stone plated targets a little bit easier. Next up we have Knight's Vow. The cost is down by 100 gold, but the combination cost is now 600 rather than the previous one, just because of the reduction in gold. But the reason why those got a nice little buff is the fact that the health is going to be down by 100. So this should be affecting the tanks in the top and maybe in the jungle that get this for their AD carries, as it will no longer be giving you as much health. Anyway, so that's the whole patch, which is actually really interesting. Now, this is going to be the last patch probably aimed at pro play, because after Worlds we won't be seeing pros again until next season. Well, unless there's an event going on, which sometimes there is. We also have All-Stars, that should be pretty cool. That'll be happening later this year. But that's all of the main pro play stuff done for this year. Going back on to next year, where we will finally get to see more pros going at it again. So that means the next few patches should be the more interesting ones, aimed at just regular play, which should be really cool. So I'm going to leave some links down below of other people that you can go check out the changes that also talk about this, but they talk about it in a different way, such as Skara and LS, who look at it in more of a pro play ideal, and then you have Freak that also looks at the numbers side of things. So the links will be down below, but I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, do the normal YouTubey stuff, and I will see you next time. Till then, everyone, peace out.